London is now home to more billionaires than any other city on the planet.
It is home. It's London. Who doesn't love London?
And like all of us, they need feeding.
She's edible gold and silver.
Has no flavour whatsoever.
But while we use the supermarket and millionaires use the Michelin Guide,
Hi, I'm here to see Jean-Philippe.
billionaires use a private network of luxury food suppliers.
We provide the most expensive coffee in the world. It's £300 per cup, and it's worth it.
Billionaires want what no one else can have.
These cost £5,000 per shot.
Wow!
That would be about £12,000.
Wow, impressive.
To survive in this new high-stakes market, they must be willing to go to any length to source the finest food and drink.
Every single bottle of this has been around the world in barrels lashed to the deck of a ship.
And satisfy the appetites of the world's most demanding clients.
The Middle Eastern market love a bit of bling.
I mean, I definitely have my salmon man who smokes his salmon and he plays live jazz music to it, and it makes the salmon taste better.
For me, go big or go home.
Laura King is Britain's largest importer of caviar. She's an expert at selling to the super rich.
I guess if I sold baked beans, I'd have a different clientele, but the people that I deal with are the wealthiest in the world, generally.
Over 25 years, Laura has supplied the world's most expensive food to classic establishments like Claridge's, Harrods, the Ritz, and even to the Queen.
She's fantastic.
But London is a city in transition. Old wealth is on the decline, and new money is pouring in. Over half of the capital's properties worth over £10 million are now owned by foreign money.
Of course, there's still old money, but more and more, I suppose, as that old money disappears, there's a lot of new money coming into London, and I think people want to spend it, and they want to spend it on the best things. You've got to try and keep ahead of the game.
To entice this new breed of clientele to her business, Laura's hosting a caviar tasting at Russian-owned Jewellery Theatre. Specialising in luxury diamond couture, it's a magnet for new, young, foreign wealth. Mahtab Jamali is an Iranian fashion designer, now residing in London.
The fact that there are a lot of billionaires or like fine kind of living people living in London or in England, it's just normal in a way.
And they aren't afraid to flaunt it.
Money comes, money goes, you know, but if you are living in a way that makes you truly happy, then do whatever you would like to do.
And when it comes to spending, they're in a league of their own.
It's the perfect dummy. The 18 karat white gold. It's £8,500. One of our best sellers.
It's not about the price you're spending on certain things, it's about how you feel with something. Everything in luxury is nice.
That's something I've never done. No, I've never.
I think the people who buy diamonds definitely are that same market that are probably going to be buying caviar. So we're tasting 4 caviars today. When we taste caviar, we always taste it on the back of our hand. And we do that so nothing impairs the taste. You just get the taste of the caviar.
You would not even use a gold spoon?
If you use gold or silver, it would oxidize. I mean, I haven't got any solid gold spoons, but
We
it's
can
time
make
to
it
invest.
for you.
Yeah.
In Laura's world, when you want to win over new clients, diplomacy is everything, especially when presented with a dizzying mix of wealthy Iranians, Russians, and Lebanese.
Beluga is the most expensive. Historically, Iran was always the best.
I grew up in parts of Russia, so I know about beluga. I don't know much about the rest. And I remember it's been very soft.
Sometimes people say to me, oh, we're doing a tasting, can we have Russian farm caviar? And I won't buy it because the quality is just so poor. It's awful.
It used to be the latest.
It's a very small farm in Belgium that I work with. They produce the best the best caviar, really. I think you'll be surprised in terms of how soft they all are. Take a spoon and then just dig into the middle and put it on the back of your hand. Please, please. Perfect.
It's very soft.
That's how it should be. That's how it always should be. It's very good taste.
Beautiful. What's not good about it?
In top hotels, this 1.8 kilo tin of beluga can retail for £24,000.
Caviar is rare, so even farmed, you've got to wait 12 years before the beluga will be ready to produce the eggs. It's the rarity, it's the time it takes you, and that's what denotes the cost.
Next is the slightly cheaper Ossietra.
Go for it, go for it.
I like the texture of this one more.
Because it's firmer.
And I usually like more expensive things, so...
It doesn't matter who you are, everyone is going to be impressed by a caviar tasting because not everyone's done it. And it's unique, it's special, and of course it's incredibly expensive. And people like all that stuff.
As the world's wealthiest flock to Britain, the private jet industry is booming. London airports now handle almost 270 private flights every day. And ex-private chef Daniel Hume is the man who wants to provide their onboard meals.
London, for me, is now the ultra-high net worth capital of the world.
Africa is becoming a big market for us. We have a big Middle Eastern and Russian base.
The individuals flying on these aircraft, money is no longer an object for them.
We've seen bedrooms, cinemas, steam rooms. I know of one aircraft where they've had a glass floor put in so the owner can see his cars. I know of a few chefs that work on board where the owner, in the bubble of the 747, is decked out like a Bedouin tent and it has a goat roaster or a sheep roaster on board.
Owners can spend hundreds of millions of pounds on their private planes, so the last thing they want is second-rate food. Daniel supplies them with Michelin star quality meals to eat at 40,000 feet.
I think the private jet has to be one of the most challenging places in the world to produce high-end food.
You going to mug me?
Am I going to mug you?
Is that gorgeous or what, eh? And I believe I can run a decent marathon.
Thank you very much.
Download Veely now.
If you're on a commercial airline, an economy meal is going to cost the airline roughly between £1 and £2 for that meal. Moving up to first class is going to cost between £4 and £10 maximum. For us, we're looking at average about £250 to £1,000 per head.
The bar for us is set very, very high because the individuals who we're serving only got there by demanding the best.
Let's get it onto trays and then we can start plating it, yeah? Let's go. We're gonna run out of time.
But Daniel doesn't just make high-end food. To accommodate his clients' demands, he's become a one-stop shop, sourcing anything they desire direct to their plane.
Hi Nina, it's Shalana calling from On Air Dining. How are you?
We will get you whatever you want, but you've got to pay for it. We charge concierge fees for a driver to go and get that product. We had one a couple of weeks ago where they wanted 25 Happy Meals.
Okay, I just need to order some mini white orchids.
We have clients who'll order extremely spicy curry.
If they could be wrapped in a banana leaf, please.
And then they'll order £2,000 bottles of Mouton Rothschild 98 and they'll swig that down. How they can taste it, I don't know. Everybody likes what they like.
In this world, you have to be very careful that the product delivered and the service delivered is absolutely on point every single time.
But even if you fly all over the world in your jet, it's still nice to be able to drop into your local bar.
Little chilly.
Salvatore Calbresi is the barman behind Mayfair's Playboy Club, favoured watering hole of the super rich.
I have a multi-international clientele, from Middle East to Russian, an aristocrat, billionaire, you name it. They want fine things that maybe, they can afford to have. And why not?
And to please his clients, Salvatore's been collecting rare and exclusive spirits his whole life.
The Sazerac, the Forge 1805, 1824 Courvoisier. This is a Royer from 1865. Lincoln was shot in 1865. This is a 1788. The year before the French Revolution, or the American Constitution. It is a very, very, very rare cognac. These cost £5,000 per shot. Let's say out of this bottle now there is about another 6 people could drink out of this bottle. Once it's gone, bang. So I'm very careful who I'm going to give it to, right? This is not a question of how much money you have. The integrity here is, do you deserve the experience?
Russian property tycoon Lev Loginov believes he does.
Well, I think it's important to have a taste of what world has to offer, because I never tasted anything that old. So.
£5,000 for a single shot. Is it worth it?
I guess yes. Others would be paying probably for it.
The appetites of Britain's new super-rich are growing. The UK's luxury goods market is currently worth £6.6 billion and is set to double in the next few years.
King's Fine Food, Holly speaking, how can I help?
Recently, certainly in the last year, people are buying more caviar and individuals are definitely buying more caviar. We're seeing people buying larger quantities of caviar. Something's going on.
It's a far cry from when Laura King started selling caviar 25 years ago.
I didn't even like it. It took me 10 minutes to muster up the sort of strength to think, I've got to eat this stuff. OK, Paul, I'll get you 6 jars. OK. Cheers, Paul. Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Now Laura has built King's into a family business.
My sister, Sally, who joined the business. When did you join, Sal?
July 2012. Yeah, it's another world, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a sort of family business because obviously my husband packs caviar.
I'm the slave. I'm freezing even in the summer.
But with London's modern elite creating a lucrative new market, Laura thinks the business needs a new plan of attack.
What about, have you got the balloon?
So her latest recruit is her 21-year-old daughter, Holly.
Where'd you get those from? God, they look really... £2.50?
H&M.
What, recently?
Yeah, like at the weekend. I thought they'd be nice for work. Bargain. I get it from you.
£2.50.
But this is only Holly's second job after leaving school.
Oh, OK, I am very sorry about that.
And she's got much to learn from her mum about selling the world's most expensive food.
Sometime this week or...
I probably first tried caviar maybe about 2 years ago, and she opened the tin and I was just like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt a bit sick at first because it doesn't look that appealing. I honestly never thought that I'd go into caviar.
So this afternoon we're going to do this thing with this sort of high net worth Chinese chap. So I'll get you to spoon out the caviar on the back of the hand. So make sure you don't drop it or throw it.
Do you remember last time when I was spooning it out on people's hands, I got confused with what was what?
Holly went to give him the caviar and spilled it all down it.
He didn't look very impressed, did he?
China is now minting more billionaires every year than any other country. To attract this new wealth to Britain, the Home Office is fast-tracking more residency visas for Chinese millionaires than any other nationality.
But I think the Chinese don't particularly know about caviar yet. So that's another challenge on the list. That's one Holly will be pursuing, I think.
I am quite a slow learner, but I think I've picked it up quite quickly. But I think that has got a lot to do with the fact that I'm learning from the best, so that helps.
Oh, sweet. The old money is being replaced with new money. I think with new money, there's a lot more of it. Individual clients could spend £120,000 on caviar. It's a lot of money.
33-year-old Jing Wei was educated at Cambridge and Harvard in computing and finance. He's a very 21st century entrepreneur.
This is my daughter, Holly.
This is Jean.
Hi,
Jean,
Holly.
nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Do you like caviar?
To be honest with you, I'm very new to this.
Tell me, someone said to me that there is a Chinese proverb that if you eat fish roe, fish eggs, you'll be bad at maths.
Yes, how do you know that? Yeah.
Trust me, I know everything about China now. I've learned a lot about China. What do you do?
It's pretty new. It's in cryptocurrency. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
It's
Bitcoin.
And is it successful?
It is quite good. I mean, it took us a month from 0 to 0.7, 0.7 million US dollars.
Wow. A beluga sturgeon in the wild could be more than a ton in weight, 4 meters long. So that's the size of a sort of mini. I mean, it's massive. It's the most expensive food in the world.
I see.
And it's what they call an acquired taste.
That tastes very different from anything I've tried before.
That to a private individual would be about £12,000.
Well, impressive.
One hotel in London sells it for £14,000 a kilo that I supply.
I see. So I'd
It's a
better
lot, huh?
buy from you directly then.
Much better. Yeah, you get a much better deal. Yeah. Please have. I suppose caviar stands for wealth, it stands for luxury, it stands for the best. Maybe it makes some people feel important. It makes them feel that they've got a lot of status.
Obviously, it is luxury food, but I personally think in China there are a lot of young Chinese couples. They might have Western-style weddings, so this might be a good fit.
Have you got a wedding coming up?
Probably.
Millionaire property investor Lev Loginov is about to drink the last drop of an 1811 cognac, Napoleon Grand Reserve.
Salvatore.
How are you?
Very good.
Oh, nice to see you.
Nice to see you
Oh,
too.
please sit down. Oh, it's going to be a special day for you today.
I'm expecting a baby in the next few days, addition to the family. So for me, I would probably associate special memory now. But I had this last shot of this cognac on 2 days, so a day before my baby was born.
The last drop of history.
Lucky.
Wow. My hands are shaking because of this. This is the last shot of an historical bottle. Remember, only very few people out of the world have drunk out of this bottle. So you actually truly finish a part of history. Something you will never be able to do for the rest of your life. And this is an extraordinary year.
1811 was Austria declared bankruptcy. We went bankrupt as a country on 1811.
Oh my God.
So
you know, so a true historical moment. You are drinking something that is truly irreplaceable. Okay. It's a symphony in the glass.
It's a special day.
There you go.
Thank you.
God bless you, my friend. Look how deep and rich is the color.
And the smell. This is something special.
Yeah.
Very special. It's 200 years history. Let's close the chapter in history. Done. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Great experience. As I said before, for me, it's experience. It's going back in the history. It also creates memories. Like for me, it will be a special memory because of a child I'm expecting in the next few days.
As the rich get richer, their spending is escalating beyond belief. Top-end private jets are in higher demand than ever before. This brand new plane was custom built for its owner. It cost over £60 million and took 5 years to finish. Today, Daniel Hume of On Air Dining is on a research trip, and going on board a client's jet is something he rarely gets to do.
Oh, that's exciting. My brain's going. Beautiful aircraft. You've got the club lounges, you have the bedroom at the back. This is my client base. These are the people that I've spent 5 years developing and designing and growing my business. And this is my ideal kind of client.
But for Daniel, it's the flight attendant who is his most important point of contact.
We don't deal with the end passenger. For us, it's all about the flight attendant. The flight attendant is the client. They're the ones who have the control of what food is on board. And that relationship with us and them has to be absolutely seamless.
I think the worst thing for us is when somebody asks you for, something specific and you say, "I'm sorry, I don't have it." In this line of industry, you just can't. I have used yogurt, for instance, on board that was sourced from a herd of cattle or cows that had a name. The cows had names, they had numbers, and that was important to the client.
Yeah.
They wanted to know that this specific yogurt came from this specific herd of cows.
If you're seeing the world from the eyes of someone who owns a private aircraft and a private yacht, you've seen most things. So having something that tells a really cool story, like food, makes things more interesting.
And knowing precisely what the modern billionaire wants means Daniel must set the highest standard.
We do not negotiate on produce. Now, every caterer and restaurant in the world will tell you they use the best produce. They're price conscious. We're not price conscious. We're in a side of the industry which is fantastic for my chefs is they can use whatever product they like, we just charge accordingly for it.
But creating top quality food from the finest produce is not easy at 40,000 feet.
When you're in the air, you lose about 50% of the flavour of salt. So when we design a dish, we look at making sure there's plenty of umami and strong flavours that can blast through the dryness on board.
It's not just the food's provenance and taste that have to be perfect. Presentation is key.
These are our squeezy bottles. Quite proud of these. These took me 18 months to find. They have the perfect squeeze. I'm quite perfectionist. I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to things like that.
But for all Daniel's attention to detail, it won't be him plating up on board.
Have you seen the list of attendees? You started cutting.
So he invites flight attendants to his base at Stansted to show them how to serve his culinary creations.
As you know, some of your clients are very, very particular on what they like and how they like things presented.
I think certainly on private jets, food is most definitely theatre. It's something for them to do to pass the time. Some clients, I flew one recently who wanted their cat to eat out of crockery, basically. So I set up a place for the cat as I would for the human passengers.
What I'm going to do is, which you're going to practice doing.
But even if you have one of Daniel's special squeezy bottles, plating up to look like a work of art isn't easy. Even on the ground.
Not doing so well.
That's very nice, very precise. You've got space on both sides there.
Most of the clients I've worked with personally have been billionaires or multi-billionaires.
So less is more.
And it gets quite frustrating sometimes because they'll ask you for something really random, like you've just left London and now you're in the middle of a snowy village in Russia and they want a Cadbury's cream egg. And there were millions of them where you just left, but now they want it today and you can't find a cream egg in Russia.
Fantastic, brilliant.
You can't really say no. In a way, it's like they pay us to keep them happy, to make their life easy, and if they want something, they've got to have it.
Richard Hardwick and Dave Foster sell coffee, but not just any coffee.
We do something no one else does. We provide the rarest, most exclusive, most expensive coffee in the world. It's like the Rolls-Royce of coffees, really, or the Bugatti.
Bugatti, really.
Today, just a few doors down from Roman Abramovich on one of London's most exclusive streets, they're meeting a prospective new client.
Hi, how do you do?
I'm good. We're here to make you beautiful coffee.
Oh,
Millionaire artist and socialite Amanda Eliash.
what are you, magicians?
We are the wizards of coffee.
Are you?
We'll set it up here for you.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, you're about to be wowed.
David's our director of global experience, so he will make a very special cup of coffee. So we have 3 coffees that we offer, bespoke beverages. One is our Emerald, which is £1,000 a kilo, so about £10 a cup. And then we have one called Ruby, which is our signature coffee, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's so good. You can have that every morning. That's £60 a cup. And then we have the coffee that we're about to have, and this is the rarest coffee in the world. It's the KL Diamond. This is £325 a cup. And once you try it, it is worth it.
My goodness, I can't wait.
Deep in the Sumatran jungle, wild coffee bushes produce coffee cherries, which are foraged by a small mammal called a luwak.
It's like a little weasel cat. And,
A weasel cat?
And they live in the rainforest.
This is the little animal. Oh my God, he's adorable.
They run around and they come out at night and they just love eating the coffee cherries. They just love it. Every single coffee bean that's picked up, they treat it like a diamond because it's so precious to them.
That's fabulous.
Having selected the most succulent coffee cherries, the luwak eats them.
It's not bitter.
That's exactly what.
That's it.
That's exactly it.
Oh, so the reason why, as you said, that so good. There's no the acidity and no bitterness like you'd normally get, is because as it passes through their system, the enzymes actually reduce the acidity in the coffee bean. That's why it tastes so smooth.
Let me get this absolutely straight. Do they spit out the cherry?
No, it passes through their system. And
So they poo it out?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It goes through their system, and the next day we scoop them up, and then we dry them and clean them. We do that with every single bean.
It's absolutely crazy. No wonder it's so expensive. That is quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so rare.
Yeah,
it's
that's why
really because it's pure nature.
Yeah, nature at its finest. Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to end a meal with. Why?
Yeah.
Life's too short for bad coffee.
And if there's one place you should never serve bad coffee, it's on a private jet.
I mean, the coffee is absolutely incredible. I've never tasted a flavour like it. I thought, wouldn't this be amazing if we could actually put these into desserts?
Daniel Hume's business promises to revolutionise food on private planes, so he's constantly under pressure to reinvent the dining experience.
This is edible gold and silver.
And what better way than to use the world's most expensive coffee to create the ultimate range of desserts?
The coffee is the most expensive product. It's a case of we're creating a dessert that is a showcase of who we are as a brand.
To brainstorm the future of pudding, Daniel has brought together top mixologist Simon Weston from Pontoon Drinks, head chef Colin Barnett, and general manager Kevin Duxbury.
What are we looking at on the cost? The 2 most expensive things that we could use here are one of the 32 karat gold leaf, if we use that. If there's a platinum, that's obviously going to be more expensive. The other thing is a coffee. We know that the coffee is it £300 a cup?
The higher brew is £300 a cup.
Therefore, one tablespoon is 300 quid. I suppose the big question is how far do we want to go?
You know, ultimately we are a business and we need to, make things commercially viable.
But this is, for me, go big or go home. I mean, this is really what this is about. Try this. This is linear aquavit.
Oh, yeah.
And every single bottle of this has been around the world in barrels lashed to the deck of a ship.
Last night about an ice cream that's the most expensive ice cream in the world because they get the water from the ice caps on the top of a mountain in Africa that the ice cap is mounting.
But the storyline behind that and the value in that, because of the story, is enormous.
I'm not sure whether that's going to get picked up by some of our customers.
No, I disagree.
Really?
Completely disagree. the modern millionaire and billionaire, if you like, the young entrepreneurial side of things that's what they're looking at.
It's about having just extraordinary provenance to the ingredients that are in there.
At the end of the day, guys, we're still a business and we still got to make money.
If we're talking about a base cost of £500 to £600 with a 200%, with a times 4 200% markup on it, you're looking at £2,000 base just to create it using the world's most expensive coffee.
In the elite world of culinary one-upmanship, food suppliers must constantly raise their game. Justin Horn is a private chef to the super rich and to stars like Mick Jagger.
This is Wagyu. It's a breed of cow from Japan that is sometimes fed beer or sake, massaged and played music to, all to improve the flavour. Very good beef, my favourite beef.
When cooking for a private client, Justin has no budget. His only brief is to impress.
When you're cooking for the super rich, you've got to do more, you've got to do better. You want to provide the best of the best. I think it's great to be able to surprise them with things that they've never tried or can't even get hold of. It's nice to be able to deliver the unattainable.
And now his clients won't settle for anything less, which means Justin has become an expert in the rarest delicacies and extreme food.
There's one thing I've heard of called persebres, or the gooseneck barnacle, which I've been wanting to try out, and I'm suggesting to a client of mine next week, actually, for one of our dinner parties we're having. And I'm very much looking forward to surprising them.
But the unattainable can come at the highest price. Through the winter months, as unrelenting Atlantic swells batter the Galician coast, a small group of men risk their lives to harvest the local delicacy, persebres, or gooseneck barnacles.
Siempre digo que el que no pasó miedo nunca en este oficio es un mentiroso.
These men, known as perseberos, use the simplest of equipment to secure themselves onto the rocks.
Pues este oficio es arriesgado porque te tienes que arriesgar para ganar más dinero.
The most highly prized persebres are the most dangerous to harvest, growing deep below the waterline.
Peligroso, donde más bate el mar. Hay que estar muy ágil y pchum.
It's estimated that each year 5 perseberos die harvesting this rarest of foods.
El peligro está en la conciencia de uno mismo, de un percebelleiro. Hay percebelleiros muy valientes, pero están metidos en el agujero.
On average, a persebero will earn €400 a day. But by the time these barnacles reach London, they can cost more per gram than gold. Far away at the other end of the food chain, London's luxury hotels are welcoming more wealthy tourists than ever before. Foreign visitors now spend more than £21 billion each year. Good news if you run an exclusive Mayfair hotel like Brown's.
Well, our guests are looking for the ultimate in luxury experience. They like the best of everything, and I suppose that includes caviar.
Lydia Forte is the daughter of Sir Rocco Forte and heiress to the multi-billion-pound Forte hotel empire. She's responsible for food and beverages at Brown's, and with new money in town, wants the finest caviar.
To land a big client like Brown's or the Forte Group would be fantastic for Kings.
But Laura thinks it's time for daughter Holly to step up and pitch for the business herself. So she's brought her to a caviar farm in France to learn more about her precious product.
Are you going to hold it?
No, I'm not. I've got my best coat on. No way.
That's not
No way,
fair.
I say.
In 2006, it became illegal to catch wild sturgeon, and now all caviar is farmed. The fish are given an ultrasound to see if their eggs are ready to be harvested. If mature, the sturgeon are humanely killed and their eggs removed.
Oh gosh, it smells so fishy. You know, like Play-Doh when you're a kid? It feels like that.
We will taste it if you want to taste that.
It's not a fishy, it's not fish taste, just nutty. It's quite... It's just one taste, just nutty. That's the only way I can describe it.
One fish can produce £2,000 worth of caviar.
I've got much more understanding as to why the product is so expensive. I think I've just, when I get home, just got to put it to the test, go out, do caviar tasting.
At Stansted Airport, Daniel Hume has decided to include the world's most expensive coffee in his new ultimate dessert experience, and has hired top pastry chef Sophie Gaxette to make it.
It is very special and exciting. I've never used so expensive ingredients in my whole life. From what I understand, it comes in James Bond suitcase, and it's a very, very important coffee and very expensive. Colin, do we have the little extract? I hope it tastes really what we pay for. Tan, 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 very exciting.
We do need to be very precise on what we're doing. We've got to try and find the balance where the coffee is still the star, but it's surrounded by some great supporting actors. 1, 2.
Each drop is precious.
3. Things for us that could go wrong is the coffee flavour completely disappears. 8, 9, 10.
Just putting a little syrup to make a caramel, and I'm going to drop a bit of this coffee essence in it to see if it would take the flavour as well, and how much I need to put in. While nobody's looking, I can use a little bit more, so... 1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
We're trying to make a statement with these desserts that we are a company who thinks differently. At this level is demand for the best. There is nothing else.
In central London, Holly is on her way to her first solo pitch of King's Caviar to the multi-billion-pound Forte Hotel Group.
To get to supply a client like Lydia Forte, to be able to get into, you know, all of her hotels and restaurants would be absolutely phenomenal. It is quite intimidating, yeah.
Ever since I was a little girl, I can pretty much remember loving caviar. My grandmother, and every year she used to do these amazing Christmas drinks. And one year, they found my cousin and I, aged 3½, sitting under a coffee table in the corner of a sitting room, having polished off half a plate of the caviar canapes. So, yeah, I think I've always liked it quite a lot.
It would be brilliant, and great to do it to a woman who's sort of taking over the mantle of Fortes, and obviously long term that's what Holly's going to be doing with King's. And similar sort of situation, really. I think the thing about Holly is she's far more coherent than I am, really. And
what does that mean?
So,
yeah, beluga, yeah.
Aussie extra.
Yeah. Holly,
Lydia,
nice to meet you. Want to take a seat? What we're going to do is we're going to start with the beluga, which is this one here.
Yeah.
And the beluga, it can weigh up to a ton in weight.
She's spent 8 months in the business, and now is the time when she's going to start to go out and to visit customers.
It should taste quite creamy, walnutty, very subtle.
There is a new generation of wealth coming up. So for Holly and for the business, to get into that is just fantastic.
This is Ossietra, the way it looks.
Thanks.
I've definitely got some big shoes to fill, but hopefully I'm getting there slowly.
Delicious.
I mean, would you consider doing sort of like a co-branded sort of Rocco Forte own label 10-gram caviar? Or
Yeah,
would that be
we could
something
definitely
you'd be
talk about it. I
interested
think
in?
that would be really interesting for the
Yeah.
group as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the tasting. It's delicious.
My mum, she always says to me, in about 5 years, I'm going to be on a beach in Barbados with my sunglasses on. I'm going to throw my phone in the sea and I'm not going to come back. But I can't see her retiring anytime soon.
How did it go?
I think it went really badly.
She said you were really good.
What I said about those two, I said they're both Barry.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's golden star.
Yeah.
And then did you rectify it?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I need to sort of swat up a lot more.
Well, it's your first one, isn't it? Rome wasn't built in a day, was it? I'm really proud of you, Holly. And I bet she has made a sale, so it's perfect.
Holly is now officially a King's Fine Food sales executive and is building her own network of affluent young clients.
I think the thing that I've found most shocking is how, so many people sort of spend so much money on food. It's just, it's mind-blowing, but I guess if it's what you want, then you're willing to spend whatever and you've got the money, then there's nothing stopping you.
After months of research and almost £20,000 spent on development, Daniel is finally ready to unveil his trio of desserts.
There is a level of trying to understand and get into the super rich mindset. The individuals flying on these aircraft, money is no longer an object for them.
My only concern with the plating on this one will be these.
It's not about the money anymore. It's about the provenance of what you're eating.
Each dessert incorporates the world's most expensive coffee, sourced from the Sumatran jungle, where it's been eaten and excreted by an Asian palm civet cat.
That's how people want to eat nowadays. And I think that's what we want to create.
The top-end diamond dessert is made from Malaysian coconut milk blended with Madagascan vanilla and a Kopi Luwak coffee sphere infused with vermouth, topped with 24-carat gold. It will retail on board for over £400 a plate. Tasting the desserts are two of Daniel's biggest clients from leading private jet operator Gamma Aviation. Their clients are some of the wealthiest people in the world.
So is this the world's most expensive dessert?
It will be one of the world's most exclusive desserts. In food terms, you can put it there with, your Rolls Royces and your elite jewellery.
Has anybody had a taste of it yet?
We are experimenting with it.
It's amazing.
That is good.
This in itself, you get the real flavour of how the coffee actually tastes, the dark mousse.
That is an amazing dish. Just understanding that sort of level of craftsmanship that goes into it is going to be key to having this in the air. Yeah. Food tastes better when you've got the story. It's as simple as that. And this tastes amazing already, but imagine once you've got the theatre, once you've got the story. Brilliant.
Do you think there are clients that would be open for paying for it?
There's definitely a market for it, and there'll definitely be people interested in it.
Well, this end of the industry, right at the top end, I would put it less down to showing off and more down to how people want a story.
perishable goods.
The bigger you can make that story and the more elaborate and the more interesting, the more they like it.
Justin Horn's Persebes have arrived, fresh from the churning waters of the Galician coast.
So they're like prehistoric dinosaur fingers. It's crazy that people die so someone can have it on their plate. So I think for some clients that would be a good dinner table story.
Nowadays, people are buying more than just a plate of food. The story behind it is massively important.
People always want to have a one-upmanship at their dinner parties, and they like to impress their guests. So these, I think, would do the job.
Everybody's looking for that thing that's a little bit different.
Surprisingly good, actually.
That's never been done before, never been seen before.
Next week, we're doing a wedding with 200 gold hot dogs.
Everybody's looking for what's next.
How much could you charge for that plate, do you think?
I don't know, maybe £100 a plate? £100 a plate? You're buying the story that goes with it. Where will it end? I don't know. I can't say. Giant octopus, giant squid.
If a client came to you and said, you know, I want to eat giant squid, would you take it on?
If a client asked me to make giant squid, yeah, if I could get hold of it.
London is now home to more billionaires than any other city on the planet.
It is home. It's London. Who doesn't love London?
And like all of us, they need feeding.
This is a type of gold leaf, is it?
This is edible gold and silver.
Has no flavour whatsoever.
But whilst we use the supermarket and millionaires use the Michelin Guide,
Hi, I'm here to see Jean-Philippe.
billionaires use a private network of luxury food suppliers.
We provide the most expensive coffee in the world. It's £300 per cup, and it's worth it.
Because when money is no object,
I think we're going to probably charge about £100,000 a kilo.
woo! All that the super rich desire is exclusivity.
Billionaires want what no one else can have.
We have shorter attention spans and we want to move on to the next thing.
To succeed, Britain's top food producers must innovate like never before.
This little frog basically is the future of food.
I mean, I definitely have my salmon man who smokes his salmon and he plays live jazz music to it. And it makes the salmon taste better. I think it does.
In the world of the super rich, where fine wines and rare caviar are commonplace, standing out from the crowd can be difficult. When your friends can afford anything, money alone won't make your dinner parties special. So you need the right people to source products no one else can get their hands on.
I sell white, I sell black, I sell by the gram. This product is it's a commodity and it changes on a weekly basis.
Mira Cortese is one of Britain's most exclusive truffle dealers. But her number isn't easy to come by.
I don't publicise, I don't market myself. I am a very niche business with a very niche product, and it's really by word of mouth.
I can either get to you after 12, or I can come anytime this evening, so you just let me know, whatever works for you.
The minimum order is 100 grams, and that has to be fairly central London. Mayfair, Knightsbridge, Belgravia, Notting Hill, St John's Wood, Hampstead, Holland Park, Kensington. I'm delivering all over London. The fact is that I offer a very highly personal service, and offering a very highly personalised service means that, you know, you feel extra special.
How would I get your number in the first place?
Ah, you've got to be in the know. You know, God, how do you get my number?
Available for only a few months of the year, truffles are one of the world's most expensive fungi.
It's a real kind of mushroomy, kind of garlicky smell.
Harvested in the wild, from under the ground, a single truffle can be worth over £1,000. And in top restaurants, the Mira's slice adds hundreds to the bill. And for Mira, business is booming.
Please take them off.
Oh, wow.
So these are the big pieces.
Okay.
Lately, she's been selling 10 kilos of truffles a week.
My business is definitely a sign of the times.
So we need half a kilo.
Just before we met, I did a delivery for a kilo.
How much is a kilo?
£2,000.
I thought we were in the age of austerity.
Not if you look at the truffle market. It's definitely not austerity.
If Mira sources the finest truffles, then Tom Harrow is her equivalent in wine. Known as Wine Chap, Tom is one of Britain's foremost wine experts, specialising in finding the most exclusive vintages.
Michelle. Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Very nice to see you. Thanks very much for seeing me today. As I think I mentioned, I've got this client who is very interested in a particular bottle of wine. I think it's a pretty special bottle, and you're one of the very few restaurants in the world that actually lists it. So it should be rather exciting.
Actually, whilst I've got you in the chef's library, just behind you, one moment, I have something here that you might be interested in.
Oh, the original wine list?
One of the, yep, dating back to, I think it's 1969.
Oh, that's awesome.
But if you look at the prices...
Look at that. Look at the Grand Echezot from Domaine Romanée-Conti for £46. Wow. I don't suppose you've got any bottles of that left over and you haven't put another markup on, just maybe?
Dream on.
Oh, wow.
That bottle would now cost £4,000. And Michel Roux's cellar is one of the best in the country. But in Tom's world, it's never about price, but about how difficult it is to obtain.
And here we are, here are the bad boys, and there's our one. The Domaine Romanée-Conti 99, a snip at £12,433 a bottle. Now, that sounds really expensive, but I mean, I know you can pay more than that retail,
yes,
which is amazing, and chapeau, frankly. It's one thing to source expensive, rare wines. It's another thing to seek the unobtainable. And that's really the level at which I operate and try, wherever possible, to succeed.
Tom sources wine from across the world.
Hey.
Hey, Tom.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Very well.
Often only buying single bottles that nobody else even knows about.
So this is the famous Sake 19. About 600
That's £600 bottle,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. London has become a playground for the wealthy, and they are quite demanding, unquestionably. They're used to getting their own way and getting what they want. So what do you get for people who can have everything, whatever they can't have? London's wealthy elite want these experiences which, frankly, give them bragging rights at dinner parties. That's what I deliver.
No, you can't freeze them. Oh, no. No. You don't need to freeze it whatsoever. If you freeze it, it'll turn to mush.
For other people in the luxury food industry, competition to supply the super rich is driving innovation.
So, I would hate you to have this kind of shriveled mush on your plate, and you'd be pretty annoyed as well.
Ken Benning works in the increasingly crowded world of caviar.
We're ready. The days of Russian Iran are gone. The Germans produce very good caviar, the Americans produce very good caviar, the Chinese produce fantastic caviar. China, caviar. People think, China, caviar? How can the Chinese produce it? It must be fake, it must be synthetic. But it's not, it's very good caviar.
As more and more people farm caviar and as more and more farms get up to speed, the price of caviar is coming down.
To keep his label exclusive, Ken has had to innovate. 2 years ago, he set up Britain's first caviar farm.
Look at that, that's a bloody big haul. That is a very, very good Rosac. We're the only ones who are British. We knew that some chefs would buy British, and it went down very, very well.
Yeah, fresh caviar. Half an hour ago, that fish was swimming.
To stand out from his competition, Ken is constantly searching for something new. This month, he's launching a project which promises to turn the world of caviar on its head.
Why are we looking at a frog? Because that little frog is the future of food. So that little frog has been at the forefront of cancer research, regeneration technology, cell regeneration, stem cell technology, and the results and what this stuff does is phenomenal.
Ken has discovered that the African clawed frog has miraculous medicinal properties. He plans to infuse an extract from the frog's spawn into his caviar to create a new elixir of youth, Caviar XL.
When I first heard about it, I thought to myself, it is a joke. I got very excited about it, but something inside me said, actually, there's probably something here. Caviar XL is sturgeon caviar, real sturgeon caviar, infused with an extract of the Xenopus lavius frog. I think we're going to probably charge about £100,000 a kilo.
Over the next 3 weeks, as London's elite indulge in the holiday season, these 3 suppliers will have their busiest period of the year, one which could make or break their businesses.
There's no safety net. What you see is what you get. And, if we screw up, we go bust.
It's early December in central London, and wine expert Tom Harrow is collecting £10,000 worth of wine for a very special event.
Well, we're off to Timothy Everest's Tailors in the heart of Spitalfields. We're going to be working on 2 or 3 floors in the building, and in each floor we'll have a different mannequin with a different outfit that represents one of the key Bond characters in a key Bond film, which corresponds with one of the drinks that we'll be pairing up with that.
This weekend, Tom is hosting 4 millionaires on a British-themed wine day.
Tim, I'm very well indeed.
Their final destination will be the studio of Tim Everest, a tailor who has designed some of James Bond's most recent outfits.
So have a look in here, Tom. I've just started to think we could do a sort of Sean Connery, Roger Moore kind of thing here. So I was going to do a little vignette as we've done before.
Yeah.
So I think this could be Champagne Central.
I love it, I love it.
At £4,000 per person, this day out will be much more than simply wine tasting.
This Sunday, we're going to pack as much wine, gastronomy-based fun into a morning and afternoon as we can. We're starting off at Coates & Seeley down in Hampshire, who are an amazing English sparkling wine producer. We're then doing some truffle hunting nearby with some friends of mine, which will be lots of fun, and then we're going to scoot back up to London to do a drink-like Bond tasting, drinking all the most amazing wines that James Bond drinks.
This room could be quite nice. We'll take the rail out, and again, we'll lay it out as if we were cutting.
The thing which will make this day different is quite simply that no one else has ever done it before, no one else could do it, and we've put together something which, quite frankly, no one else has the access to do.
Achieving the impossible is a common goal for many people supplying the super rich, and Ken Benning thinks he might have just done it. His Caviar XL, infused with frog spawn extract, could have life-enhancing properties, but his colleagues are sceptical, including his wife, Jemima.
In my mind, I don't know, having done science and whatever, you feel you need a certain element of proof, and all the things.
Do you want me to show you proof?
No, I know, but you need to actually see it.
Oh, I can show you proof. We can bring it around the screen now, and I'll show you basically this little XL93, as I like to call it. I've named it XL93. They've tested this, they've fed it to mice, and the mouse has lived 1.7 times longer than the mouse that wasn't fed it. The only reason why you die is because basically your brain dies. You get old, your body starts regenerating. And what we're trying to do is introduce products which help your body to continue regenerating. But we're going to launch it in a caviar product at the top of the market. Think about food that basically goes into you, does stuff for you, and then goes out of you. Not chemicals at all. Regeneration, reorganization, and reanimation.
Do you remember when Kenneth first told you about this?
The horny toad, as I like to call it. It was only a few weeks ago, wasn't it? It was a couple of weeks ago when the guy had come through from the States. So yeah, and it just seems to have spiraled into a whole new event in Ken's world.
Is this strictly Ken's world then?
I think it's mainly a Ken project at the moment, yeah.
10 years ago, Ken's business happily sold normal caviar. But as it's become cheaper, the super rich now require something more exclusive. Caviar alone is no longer posh enough.
We have to grow. If we sit still, you know, I mean, every day there's someone else online trying to sell caviar and trying to undercut us, and, you know, or they're trying to sell to our customers, and, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world. If we get this right, yeah, you can make money out of it, sure, but it's not actually about the money. It's about having something that no one else has and providing it to our kind of customers, because that's what they like as well. They want to have something that no one else has. There's only a certain amount of restaurants you go to, there's only a certain amount of times you can rent that yacht, but after a while, you know, these people, they want the next thing, and they're willing to pay for it.
Hello.
The desire for exclusivity is never more apparent than in the world of white truffles.
I have 1.5 kilos of white and 1 kilo of black.
But like caviar, oysters, and other favourites of the wealthy, this truffle has a humble history.
The irony is truffle started off as a peasant food. It was the food the poor ate in Italy. And today it's become one of the most sought after food items in the world. This is kind of worth, you know, 100 quid and 100 pounds. What do we find valuable? What is it that we value as a society? Is it really about the delicacy? Is it really about the fact that this is only available 2 months a year and that you're really passionate about it, which actually for some people it is? Or is it really about it's so expensive and it's kind of feels almost like it's unattainable, so you must at all costs attain it?
Like many elite food, Mira's truffles have become a pawn in the game of dinner party one-upmanship.
There is definitely a very strong element of the status factor of truffles. You're making a statement, especially if you're doing it amongst a group of people. You know, keeping up with the Joneses is a mentality that's existed for a long time, but you just see it a lot more when people become more wrapped up with the more money they have.
I'm doing my juice cleanse right now because I just got back from holiday.
Marissa Hermer is an American expat living in London. Her husband owns a string of restaurants and bars, including Prince Harry's favourite nightclub, Bougie's.
I like sharing really nice food and nice wine with friends. You sort of want to pull out all the stops, and the best way to do that is with luxurious food.
Her extravagant dinner parties have featured in Tatler and are legendary in the Mayfair social scene.
So there is a certain level that I need to attain to when I'm a hostess. It's a pleasure to do that.
Hi. Hi, Marissa. Hi.
With a reputation to uphold, she's obtained Mira's number and wants to talk truffles.
Wow, what a beautiful home.
Oh, thank you. I'm really excited. You come very well. You're famous, or rather, your reputation precedes you.
Really?
I've booked in a lot of truffle dinners, so I need you.
Were you going to do all 3 courses with truffles?
So I like doing like a truffle starter, a truffle entree, and a truffle pudding. This is my pasta. So this is what we do for truffles.
I mean, if you've got Italian chef coming, you can get him to make fresh tagliolini.
That's what I want him to do.
Fabulous. The question for you is, in terms of the truffles that you want me to find for you, do you want big? Do you want small? Are you going to serve them at the table? Are you going to have the chef shave them? Because we've got a few truffle hunters that we work with, and we'll pick the best ones for you. So that is kind of important for me to know.
Size always matters a little bit. I want big ones. So let's get big.
And big ones aren't cheap.
I can't tell you today how much the price is going to be because the truffle prices change on a weekly basis. It's like a commodity and depends.
Like gold.
Last year the price varied between £2,000 to £3,000 a kilo.
It's expensive, but I'd rather buy a really nice truffle than a Chanel handbag. Actually, I want both, is what I...
For people like Marissa, personal suppliers are part of the Mayfair lifestyle.
I mean, I definitely have my salmon man who, he smokes his salmon and he plays live jazz music to it. So and it makes the salmon taste better. I think it does.
I have to say, I'm not playing opera to my truffles.
It's really delicious. Jazz, he does jazz.
Marissa's salmon smoker is Ulla Hansen. He works out of a tiny basement in North London. And perhaps more than any smoker in Britain, he sells a fantastic story.
When I was 5 years old, I had this sort of amazing smoked salmon on my grandfather's homemade bread, and eating this when the midnight sun is coming up on the Arctic tundra. It's just a memory that I never forget. And I guess that's what I'm doing here. It's a recreation of this taste that I lost in my childhood.
Every stage of Ulla's process comes with a tale, from the salting through to the smoking room itself.
This is my grandfather's smoking chamber, and one of the ideas that my grandfather had is that the salmon should move in the wind. And he believed that if the salmon moves in the wind, there will be some migration of taste. So what he means, I think, is that there is energy put into the salmon. It's not just dead. It's still alive, and we're utilizing the energy of the wind to stimulate the proteins and the enzymes. And I find it very poetic.
What is art? Is it painting a painting, or is it the art of biking? Is it the art of learning how to fix a motorcycle? The art of smoking salmon, it's very much just a perpetual study, week after week.
Ulla has even separated a man's cut of salmon from a woman's.
So the men tend to be more rough and strong and liking the salty and the strong flavors, while women are more, well, what can I say, super sensitive and they love delicacy and women are great. But at least we have a way of describing not just a pack of salmon, but more.
We definitely live in a world where the myths and the stories and the old wives' tales are a key part of the appeal factor. It is, it's all part of the chit-chat, dinner banter.
In Ken Benning's office, the myth of eternal youth is possibly about to be made real.
The box has just arrived, yeah, delivered. Labelled as live fish, but it's not fish.
These are the little frogs.
Right. It must be inside
Right,
the tank.
take that out there. Right, we need to use that stuff apparently because we've got to treat the water. I think the froggies are in here. What we're going to do, by the looks of it, I'm assuming that in that little package there is the frogs. It's quite exciting.
2 days after placing an order, Ken's first batch of African clawed frogs have arrived.
This project's been, how long have we been doing for? 2-3 months. You know, it may be that it takes another turn and this is not the way to go, but this is, you know, it's been taking a lot to get these little things. They're little buggers. This is possibly part of the future, yeah. There we go. 1, 2. That's it.
I think we might have a fatality.
They're not fatality, they're getting acclimatised.
Those two are belly up.
They're not belly up at all.
They're not?
No, well, their eyes are on top of it, aren't they?
Oh, right, okay.
Darling, have some faith. Oh, look, they're playing dead. That's what they're doing, little buggers. I think they're great. You know? They're amazing, aren't they?
And I'm a great believer in that you can't make something happen until you physically see it. Now you've seen the frogs, you know the frogs exist, they're physically in front of you, you can physically touch them, physically hold them. Now it's the next stage.
You know, I think that he's definitely a man on a mission when a new idea comes along, so yeah.
So can we harvest from this little frog the future of bioceuticals, I guess, or bio-farmers, and create a product which basically you eat this and you live for another 50 years, 60 years? This is the future. You know, the reality being is that we just want to be at the forefront of it.
It's 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, and 2 Rolls-Royces are outside Tom Harrow's house in South London.
This whole day out is really pushing our imaginations to the limit. And the idea really is just to showcase the ultimate UK wine-based gastronomy day out.
The ultimate wine cap suit, basically. Okay, how does Daddy look? See you later. And, yeah, excellent, thank you. Good.
Tom's first port of call is Whitehall to pick up Baron Axel von Schubert and his wife, Magdalena.
Magdalena, you're by far and away the skinniest of us, so we're all going to go in the back here. We'll
Perfect.
I'll
Sure.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I know, these roses are rather small.
By 7 o'clock, the other roller has scooped up property magnate Nick Butterworth and hedge fund manager Howard Colvin.
We met on a private jet a few years ago, and we were going down to a vineyard in Bordeaux, and Tom's doing the wine tasting there. But actually, he thumbed a lift on the jet. He wasn't meant to be on it. You know, so it's all right. He was standing outside Farnborough Airport and got on the jet.
To impress his clients, Tom must give them a day out nobody else could conceive of, let alone afford. So they're heading to Hampshire, to one of the only places in Britain where the exclusive black truffle grows wild.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Howdy.
Tom, James, Magdalena and Axel. Today is all about quality and uniqueness. That's pretty much what we want to do, is give people an experience they have never had before.
And like anybody servicing the elite, Tom has left nothing to chance.
If you don't find a truffle there, is there one on standby for you to take with you?
Yeah, always. You know, I mean, the backup's always important, and we have some that has already been found just yesterday, in fact. Fortune favours the wealthy. I don't know.
You don't drive, you have a drop.
We're off. Right, good racing walk. Work off your small amount of venison and salmon.
Truffle hunting is foraging for the super rich. An Italian truffle dog costs £2,000, and anything they dig up can sell for £750 a kilo.
Here we are. Oh, guys, we have action. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That is pretty fresh. Look at that. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Imagine that shaved on a bit of lobster. Ooh, yeah.
But it's spectacular. And I'm amazed at truffles here. I think it's unbelievable that we have black truffles this time of the year here in this part of England.
Tom's promise of delivering the undeliverable has got off to a good start.
I mean, this is something which no one else does, basically. I mean, here we are in Hampshire finding truffles. And, you know, you talk to a lot of people and they're like, you can do this in the UK. Like, you can if you know me.
And that is Tom's selling point, giving his clients something money alone can't buy, something beyond a simple product.
Perhaps one way of looking at luxury today is taking the product, whatever it is, as a starting point. But it's how you convey the story behind it. It's the context in which you put it. It's building the whole sensuous experience around it that creates a truly and unique, luxurious opportunity.
He almost works below the surface. He gets to areas where the average person couldn't get to. And like today, it's something that the general public wouldn't be able to easily achieve.
By 11 a.m, the rollers are crunching down the driveway of Exton Park for a tasting of Britain's newest sparkling wine with winemakers Coates and Seeley, 3 weeks before anybody else has had a sip.
All we care about is quality. We are not looking to be big. We're not looking to make millions of bottles. There's a vintage of this coming out later this year, which I think is really going to be sensational. Later today, we're going to taste the vintage rosé, which is the first vintage that Coates and Seeley has ever produced. It's not yet released. Well, it'll be very interesting to see what you make of it.
The arrival of a new vintage is always super exciting. It's like the next installment of your favourite movie franchise.
But come through, come through.
Tom also acts as master of ceremonies, ensuring that every moment has the correct sense of drama and spectacle.
Weapon of choice, tool of the trade, and yep, trustee ready to go. What I'm going to do now is the ancient and noble art of sabrage. It was spawned by Napoleon's cavalrymen, the hussars of sabrage, which is basically lopping the head off a champagne bottle with a bloody big sword. Bang! Wow. Perfect. There we are. And a lovely, lovely clean cut. Look at that. There we are. The first ever.
When you're working with people who are so busy, you have to capture their attention immediately, excite them with something extraordinary and different, and there's not a second chance with these sort of people. So, yeah, there is a degree of the children's entertainer about the job.
It's these experiences of being able to discover new things and just being passionate about things and being fortunate enough to be able to experience them in a way that we are experiencing, things today. It's much better than just sitting in front of the telly and watching a stupid movie.
For all businesses serving the super rich, getting hold of what they want is half the battle.
Oh, are you going? Are you going? Oh.
And when your product is as rare as white truffles, there's little love lost between competing suppliers.
Hi, Mira, it's Linda at the River Cafe.
Hey, Linda, how you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Marvellous, thank you. In London, there are probably a handful of truffle dealers. It's very competitive, very cutthroat, and it needs to be because it's a season that lasts 3 months, October to December, and it's over. So you drop the ball, you lose a client.
Just like in Tom Harrow's wine business, when things are this competitive, it's all about who you know. And in this, Mira trumps them all.
The context I have for truffles is unique. My father-in-law is from Umbria and Tuscany. Truffles being very prominent in the region meant that he had the contacts to buy truffles. So from day one of meeting my husband, whenever we went to Umbria, there was always truffles on the menu for lunch and for dinner.
Mira's married into an old Italian truffling family, and every November she pays the in-laws a timely visit.
My travelling back and forth to Italy is really about me doing the quality control, and I'm hand selecting these truffles. That is really important to my client because they know that I'm taking that extra special care for their meal. The key is buying well, and you've got to be able to take what you want and get it at the right price, and you have to be quite ruthless about it.
Truffle hunting in Umbria is an age-old tradition, and Mira's contact, Alvaro Giordino, is one of the region's most respected hunters.
Dove sta chicca? Il bianco si trova solo i posti umidi, coi bioppi, terra bianca, vicino ai margini dei fiumi. Speciale per mangiare, sì. È ottimo. È l'oro bianco della cucina italiana.
Mira's relationship with Umbria serves an important function for her clients. It helps build up the story of her exclusive brand.
Because I'm married to the Italian network, I have access to people who get them straight from the ground. You know, you're as close to the source as you can, you know, short of flying over to Italy and digging it out. If you have a great story and a great product, you know, it's the winning combination. One down, two more to go. I think my story is quite a good one.
Over the next 48 hours, Mira visits 3 different dealers.
Mamma mia.
And smells more than 100 kilos of truffles.
This is such a stonking year.
Searching for Italy's finest product.
Well, I have certain clients in mind that I need to buy for. So I'm looking in terms of what I know that they would like to look at, to see, to feel, to touch, to smell. So I mean, it's all on your senses. 400 grams. There's definitely prestige in the big ones. I mean, you take it out, people go, wow, because you can tell that someone spent a shitload of money.
But what she's ultimately looking for is something a little more subtle.
The red in the white truffle is like a hallmark. So when you see the red, you see that it's actually grown near the roots of the trees. And some people, when they look for a truffle, they really know their stuff, will never be put off by the red. Will actually only buy a truffle which has got a bit of red staining. That's what I'm getting. 3 kilos.
So how quickly could you sell these in London?
Well, I would say anywhere between a day to 2 days is probably likely that I will sell these. In this current market, in this climate, with these prices.
But the price is one thing Mira never discusses in public.
You need to slowly, carefully pack and slowly and carefully talk price. I do have a figure in mind. Now, if I tell you, then I'll tell everybody, so. I'm going to go this way. So you're going to stay here, and I'll be back.
Where are you going?
To the office, to organise payment.
Mira will leave Italy with 7 kilos of truffles. By the time she's added her commission and the prestige of her hand-delivered service, these fungi will have tripled in value, and her haul could be worth over £15,000. Back in London, Ken is not having quite such a successful day.
I've been speaking to the department that looks after novel foods. And, you know, if we take basically the unfertilised frog spawn and we basically do what we do to it and create this new product, it's classified as a novel food, and we're looking anywhere up to, he said, by the time you get something that's to market, it's going to cost you over £1 million. I'm like, great.
Ken has discovered that his Caviar XL is classed as a novel food and needs several years of safety testing before he can be issued a licence. The frogs will now face a very different future.
So the boys are all excited that we're getting some form of pets, because we don't have any pets at the moment, and so it'll be nice to have a few little frogs, and hopefully they won't be used further down the line. Hopefully these ones will stay as little family friends. We'll see.
But Ken is resolutely upbeat.
You know, we're not going to go crazy and bet your shirt on them. But what you're doing is slowly at the same time, you just like a juggler, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get another one, you throw it in there. You know, and you know your own strengths. You don't want to get the whole bloody bag and throw up in the end because you're not going to be able to catch it, are you?
I said, you know, you've got to keep on doing different things. There are so many people doing similar things. You've got to always find the new project and keep on evolving.
People think I'm absolutely mad, but, you know, they said we'd be mad to start a sturgeon farm in the UK. You know, the reality being is, you know, there are sturgeon farms around the world and all caviar is now farmed. It's all sustainable. That's the way it's changed.
The holiday season in London is in full swing. And the city's elite food suppliers are working harder than ever.
Anyway, so yes, the answer is whatever you want, we've got.
but I would go mid-range. Mid-range, I'll go for the Siberian sturgeon. Yeah. 197 pounds exactly. Exactly.
In Spitalfields, wine expert Tom Harrow is ending his millionaire's day out. At a townhouse atelier, a James Bond theme is illuminating rare vintage wines.
We have pretty much the best champagnes in the world arrayed for you today. The very first champagne that features in Bond is the legendary Comte du Champagne from Taittinger. It's a Blanc de Blanc, so it's 100% Chardonnay, which is why we're starting with it. It's kind of the lightest, freshest style. This is the recently released 2005 vintage. James Bond was a legendary booze hound, but he was a connoisseur, as you'd expect. Cheers, all. Thank you for coming. Fantastic to see you. Yeah, let's start drinking like Bond.
To you and Bond.
To me and Bond, yeah.
All the champagne and wine has been paid for in advance by Tom's guests at eye-watering prices.
We're going up to A View to a Kill.
A bottle of the Lafite from this vintage would probably be £500–600 a bottle, and in a restaurant, you know, probably just the right side of 2,000.
But at this party, money is the one thing that doesn't matter.
Diamonds are forever, indeed.
I don't think it's about the best. I think it's what is the most delicious, really, rather interesting, because we have shorter attention spans and we want to move on to the next thing.
Tom's day has been a massive success, not just because of the wine he has sold, but because he's given these people what they ultimately want: exclusive access to worlds they never even knew existed.
It's not just bragging rights, it's an experiential thing. I imagine one's palate can get very jaded if you're just used to drinking nothing but, you know, Cristal and flying around on private planes. It's sort of boring, frankly. So if you can be offered an experience which you hadn't even dreamt you could have, then you're actually opening up whole new vistas for people, and that's exciting to be part of it.
Have you tried the sherry itself?
Today was rough.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, that's seriously, chapeau.
It's been one of the best Sundays we've had. Having somebody like Tom, who brings a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of friends and experience together, and like today, which I think was absolutely glorious, absolutely fantastic.
Can I take a drop more, actually? That is so sexy, it hurts.
Tom is a man for all seasons. You know, no matter what occasion, whether you require a restaurant or wine, you just ask Tom.
Harry, I'm at Oxford Circus. I'll be with you hopefully in about 2 seconds.
In central London, Mira is back with her haul of Italian truffles.
Got up at the crack of dawn, abandoned my children to go and do some deliveries. Who would get so exciting about delivering? Moi! Moi. Right, hasta luego. I mean, how glamorous is this? Like, zero. Hi, I'm here to see Jean-Philippe.
Over the next 3 hours, she will sell over £5,000 worth of truffles to restaurants, dining clubs and private clients. This has been quite a season for Mira.
I'd say this was my record year. I hit sales of about 70 kilos of truffles. This year, you know, a lot of people could afford it.
But all the demands and hobnobbing are taking their toll.
Oh, hat.
And Mira is tiring of the truffle game.
I have seen a different world where there's this obsession with food that I can't bear anymore. On some level, I think the balance is completely a bit askewed. There's this snobbery about truffles and yeah, I'm a bit tired of it, to be honest. Oh, for God's sake, where the am I? When I say to people I'm a truffle dealer, they go, wow, how glamorous. It's like, well, actually, is it glamorous being a delivery girl? Maybe some people say, no, you're more than a delivery girl, you know, you're the expert in truffles. I'm like, yes, but is it that big a deal? And I guess, to me, it's not that big a deal, you know, it's a mushroom. It's a fungus.
In South London, there's none of Mira's disillusionment. In fact, quite the opposite.
They're both beautiful caviars. So give me 1 second, let's take a call him. It's Ken Benning, hello.
Just days after his frog disappointment, Ken Benning is launching another business innovation.
What we want to do is be able to bring a brand new product to the market, brand new one, which is literally fresh caviar, as in really fresh. No borax, no additives. You turn the tin over and see half of the stuff in the market, it's got more bloody additives than most kids' sweets do. But we don't want to do that. We want to make it to order, really make it to order, and give the customer a whole different experience. It tastes totally different. You know, it's unbelievably creamy. You know, they say, oh, it hasn't matured. No, bollocks, it's been in the tin for six months. What we want is it literally been out of the fish 6 hours. Well, I don't know what you can see here, but what I can see, and we're close to it, is a same day, literally producing caviar at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, producing the caviar, and that fresh caviar is on the table of the customer in the top restaurants in London by lunchtime. We're going to have a look at this, grab the coat. Turn around the corner. Ready?
Ken is now planning a sturgeon farm right on his own doorstep, allowing him to claim London's freshest caviar ever, direct from a postcode in Battersea.
It doesn't look like much, but at the end of the day, you know, you've got to see this, you've got to see past the first bit. And basically what you're having here is literally London's first sturgeon farm. You know what? This is the future. This is literally, you know, I think that urban farming is where it's at.
For as long as the world's elite make London their home, businesses like Ken's, Mira's and Tom's are destined to thrive.
None of these wines are available unless you happen to know me.
But as the clients get richer and their expectations grow, so the suppliers must keep raising the bar to provide that extra special feeling of unique exclusivity.
With this sort of clientele, imagination is the only barrier. One of the challenges, unquestionably, is when you've done a brilliant event, what do you do next? How do you top that? It's really just coming up with the next craziest, coolest, most exciting, unusual, rarefied experience we can.